Welcome back to Hot Topics TV again, everybody. It's your host with the most. Listen, let's get right into this topic right here. This whole YNW Melly trial. I got a few footnotes that we're going to go off of just so we're on track. And for the people who doubt this, please understand that I'm not one of the type of people who you call a dick rider. I'm not one of the type of people who, because I like his music, he's going to be found not guilty in my mind. I actually really do follow the trial. And I actually really do look at the details. I look at the presentation of the case. I look at every piece of evidence, whether it was circumstantial or electronic, forensic evidence that was presented, or weigh the whole situation out. So I too have an opinion, right? But let's get into the real details. First of all, let's say this. One juror said from the beginning, no matter what, she is not going to convict YNW Melly. And she gave the prosecution the stink eye throughout the whole trial. This was the actual reason why there was a mistrial. Remember I said I found it kind of weird that the judge called a mistrial so early. Because I've watched many a trials before. I've watched many a cases go to court. And I've watched jurors or juries deliberate for days. So for this jury to come in so quick and say, Your Honor, we cannot get to a unanimous vote, I said something must be wrong, right? Shortly after the mistrial was called, I believe it was YNW Melly's mom, along with somebody else that posted to social media that 9 jurors said not guilty and 3 said guilty. And they couldn't cross, they couldn't come. That's not the case. It has pretty much been confirmed because they can talk to the jurors after the whole case is over, which Melly's first whole case is done. This is what was revealed on Law and Crime Network, right, by those attorneys. One juror said that from the beginning, told the rest of the jurors, I'm never going to convict him no matter what. That means no matter what evidence I see, no matter what you guys say to me, he's not guilty in my mind and I'm sticking to it. I don't even want to see the trial, the evidence. I don't even want any of you to try to convince me to look at anything else differently. He's just never going to be guilty for me. That right there will definitely cause a mistrial. And that's what happened. But let's get into what's about to happen now because Melly just went to court. YNW Melly will remain behind bars as he goes to trial a second time. So shout out to the people who are big YNW Melly fans who keep, they're all over social media. Free YNW Melly, free YNW Melly. Okay, that's all good. But people were saying, watch, you'll see, he's coming out because they already got him locked up for how many years and they just went to a mistrial. So the judge is going to have to give him bail. And once the judge gives him bail, he can fight this thing from the outside. Well, I said that's possible that the judge could give him bail so he could fight this from the outside. And I'm thinking about all the media hoopla that would follow this. Just like when Tory Lanez was going to court, all the media people were there. They watch you, they see you dress up in your Burberry suit or your Armani suits, and they see you dress up in your red bottoms, your fly wears. They see you step out of a luxury $350,000 vehicle to go into the courtroom with your high-powered attorneys and all this. It makes good for TV. It makes good for viewing. So it makes sense that they would give him bail and then capitalize off of it from everybody else who's going to be following all the media houses, the media itself. Views sell. Views equal revenue in this time, in this day and age. So that's where that's at. But so far, we've learned that Melly will be staying behind bars as he goes to trial a second time. Yes, it's been confirmed he's going to trial a second time. The prosecution says they're ready. Melly will appear before the judge, Judge Murphy, again, August 1st to August 3rd. I don't know if he's going to be appearing all 3 days or that's the time window for which he can appear before the judge again. meaning he could be there August 1st, he could be there August 2nd or August 3rd, but it's been slated August 1st to August 3rd. Maybe this is where a bond request will be made again, if one was not made before, to get him to get bail so he could get out, right? This appearance though, the first appearance right after his mistrial, that appearance on July 28th, that was called a status hearing. So it wasn't a bail hearing, it was a status hearing. And a status hearing was to decide and to confirm if the prosecution will still go ahead, prosecute the case, which they said, yes, sure as hell we are, which we all expected them to. It's a double murder case. They're not going to just throw it out after one mistrial, right? And if Melly will be sticking with his same legal team or if he will be having other attorneys. Watching the whole thing, it's kind of, well, I wouldn't say confusing, but they kind of put in there that there might be some changes to YNW Melly's defense team. One of his lawyers might be changing up for somebody else. Maybe. But as it stands right now, it looks like he's going back to trial again with the same team that he had before. The prosecution suggests, man, when the prosecution suggests this, I said I should have went to law school because I saw this coming and I said it. Check it. The prosecution suggests, right, that they try Bortlen and Melly together. The defense objects. Of course they would object. You don't want Melly and Bortlen in the same room before the same jury and before the same judge at the same time, facing the same prosecution team. It is too easy to have them trip up on each other, right? Even though Melly has declined to testify in any way, and I'm guessing that Bortlen will be advised to not say anything at all as well. But if he is on trial, well, Melly is on trial too, and he's decided to not say anything. So it would be really cool to actually see them tried together. We'll talk some more about that, right? What the judge is saying though is, or as far as legalities goes, just so you understand it, Melly is facing a death penalty. Bortlen is not facing the death penalty. If Bortlen and Melly are tried together, they would need to have what's called split jury. So they would have two different juries, two different sets of 12 over here for Melly, 12 over here for Bortlen. And the judge is saying, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that one, right? So my suggestion to the prosecution would be to take the damn death penalty off the table. I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. Take the death penalty off the table. The first time I said it, I said take the death penalty off the table. Somebody said, yo, they can't take the death penalty off the table because that's just the way it is. It's set in stone. Take the death. I found out yesterday that they can take the death. It's a whole new trial. They could do whatever all over again. Bring in new witnesses, new evidence, all of that. They can also rearrange the sentencing phase or rearrange the punishment, I should say. What do you want? We want life in prison. We don't want the death penalty. Okay, so death penalty is off the table. I found out that if the death penalty is off the table, then it would be easier to try Bortlen and Melly together. Matter of fact, expert lawyers are saying that is exactly what the prosecution should do. Take the death penalty off the table and have both of them tried together. Hell, it would take care of a lot of stuff, right? They already had a mistrial. You don't want to take Melly back to court again. Waste the prosecution's time and resources, the state's time and resources. Obviously, the state has a whole lot that points to Melly. Enough to get a conviction, actually. And you would hate to go back to trial again and get another mistrial. What are you going to do then? Go back to court again? So you'll be ending up trying this person 3 times, 4 times before you just trying to seek justice. But if they put Melly and Bortlen together, take the death penalty off the table, everything could be sealed and shut right there. Here's the thing about the death penalty. Not too many people in Florida are fond of the Ron DeSantis new death penalty rules. These are changes that were made recently in the state of Florida. In the state of Florida previously, you needed a unanimous jury vote to get a death penalty conviction. That means you needed all 12 jurors to say death penalty. They changed that recently. I believe it's now 8 is needed out of the 12 to say death penalty, and then you will have the death penalty. Looking at that and going into the Melly case, which is, I'll admit, a lot of circumstantial evidence, even though it's still solid, a lot of circumstantial evidence, and plus there are a lot of people who don't really support the death penalty, or they don't support the fact that only 8 jurors are needed. You're gonna have a problem with that death penalty on the table. It's much easier to get life in prison or a long, lengthy prison sentence, however they want to put it, 50, 60 years, whatever. It's much easier for a jury to give you that than it is for them to send somebody off to die. Because that's how the jury looks at it. They're like, yo, it's my vote that's going to put this man in the electric chair, or that's going to strap this man to a gurney and have him injected with lethal things that will kill him. My vote's gonna do that. Nah, I would rather him get life in prison. At least I know I didn't send anybody to their death, right? Right. Some people are just like that. They just don't believe in the death penalty. Even if they ask them when they're selected as jurors, do you have a problem with the death penalty? And they go, no. So you wouldn't have a problem voting for the death penalty if a person is found guilty of killing 2 people? No, I wouldn't. They will say that until they get, and then they're selected to be a juror, but the whole time inside of themselves, they're like, nah, I'm not sending anybody to the death penalty. It starts to weigh on your conscience, right? Right. So Melly's retrial is now set. According to Law and Crime Network, Melly's retrial is now set for October. But Bortlen's trial was already set for October 2nd. So here comes, do we push Bortlen's trial out further and try Melly first? Or do we go ahead and try Bortlen first if Bortlen date comes before Melly's date? I know they mentioned before that they might have to push Bortlen's trial out further, but what I'm hoping to see them do, I'm actually hoping to see them try both of them together. Take the death penalty off the table and try both of them together. Right? Wow. Now, check it. This part. Witnesses have warrants out for their arrests at this point. You see, the first time, right, in the first trial, we said, damn, how come they couldn't get the witnesses to come in? What about issuing a subpoena? But I heard the prosecution, the lead prosecutor said, we did issue a subpoena, Judge, and we're just having a difficult time finding them, right? Hey, there's one famous rapper that's in this, and everybody knows it, and we're talking about Fredo Bang, right? Fredo Bang is who the prosecution alleged that YNW Melly, after he got away from the car with Bortlen went to the hospital, Melly got out the car and went a different way and called somebody to come pick him up. The cell towers tracking pinged that conversation, dropped his location as well. That's another reason why he is put there. Boom. I just saw, like, it's no doubt that Fredo Bang knows that they want him to speak at the trial. They want him to come testify. But you know, Fredo is like 10 toes down. He's like, I'm not doing it. Yeah, I'm not doing, don't try to mix me in it. I'm not doing nothing. And then I'm listening to a latest song that he put out, and there's a part in the song that says they sent a subpoena Tell them lawyers I ain't see that shit. That kind of tells me you knew that or you are aware that there is a subpoena and you just ignore it. I don't see that shit. I told y'all already I'm not coming, right? Well, a lot of people are under the impression that you could just ignore a subpoena and nothing will happen. That's not true. Go speak to an attorney. Once a subpoena is put out, you have to respond to that subpoena. If you don't respond to that subpoena, then it's up to the people issuing the subpoena, in this case the prosecution, issuing a subpoena to go ahead and enforce the subpoena. Meaning they will put an arrest warrant out for you. So my question now is there an arrest warrant out for Fredo Bang? Because Fredo Bang is needed by the prosecution in this case. Come on now, a lot of people are saying, damn, they have proof that he was there and that he was in possession of that phone because he used it to get to call Fredo Bang to come pick him up. Why not have Fredo Bang come in? You had Mr. Glass come in. You had that last dude, Trevor, whatever his name was, come in that said that Melly changed vehicles. You had him come in. You had Melly's ex-girl's mom come in. I think Fredo Bang would play a big part in this. But then I learned that Fredo said, man, y'all leave me alone. I'm not coming. Don't say nothing to me. I don't want nothing to do with this case. Okay. Issue an arrest warrant. I've also heard an attorney say that once an arrest warrant is issued, it's enforceable, which means they'll come get you. They'll arrest you. They'll take you to court. People say, okay, so he goes to court and he'll just sit there and he won't say anything. Guess what? If he sits there and he doesn't say anything, I've heard an attorney say, now I'm not an attorney, but I've heard an attorney say, they can lock you up until you start to speak. Now what you say on the stand will be your business, however you choose to say it. Y'all remember Glass? When Glass was saying, yes, we did leave the studio. Yes, I did climb into that red SUV. Yes, Melly went in the other SUV. And the next time I seen him was at Fredo Bang's house. And he had a change of clothes. Remember that? Okay. If you notice, Glass was being what we call combative, right? He was like, I don't want to be here. They threatened me to be here. And I really don't want to be testifying and saying too much. So that was his attitude he was given. Remember, he had his dreads down over his eyes. The judge told him, can we remove the computer monitor from in front of him so everybody can see his face? And then they removed it and he dropped his dreads over his eyes, right? And then the judge was like, why do you keep your hair covering your face like that? And he gave his excuse for why he did it or whatever, but just to give you an idea. So that's where we're at with the YNW Melly follow-up after the mistrial, his new trial. What you need to know is the next time he goes before the judge is already scheduled, and that's for August 1st to August 3rd. YNW Bortlen's trial was set already for October 2nd. Melly's new trial is now retrial is set for October as well. So conflict right there is going to be interesting to see how they work it out. Will they try them together? Will they take the death penalty off the table so they can try them together? Or will they still choose to try them separately and move Bortlen's court date further out so they can try Melly first? Or will they go ahead and try Bortlen first and then get to Melly after? Either way, I said it before, if they try Bortlen first, Bortlen will be forced to save himself. This is going to be a sink or swim situation for him because he's going first and he doesn't know what could happen after, right? And he's going to be in a tight spot. If they try Melly first, which they did, and it looks like they're going to do again, then we're expecting to go down the same road of hearing all the same evidence, and I just hope that the prosecution does not keep it drawn out and boring. I hope they make it exciting. I hope they get to the point. I hope they drive home the key elements in this case, right? Make the case 2 days, get it over with. 3 days at the most, get it over with. Not this whole weeks after week after week stuff where people start to forget what the hell they heard last week, right? Taking in new stuff this week. Let's 1, 2, 3, bang, 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 get it out the way. And the best choice, I think, is to try both of them together. I'm going to leave this one right here. I'll catch y'all in the comment sections. I see y'all having a good time with these conversations. Keep having a conversation. This is real, man. And, you know, people deserve justice. I would hate for this to be any of my family members, my little cousins, my brother, my son, you know. And this is the way that they went out. And everybody is saying, free this, free that. And nobody is saying condolences to the family. May the family get some justice. This is horrible. Damn, you really do this to your day ones. That, and the other. Like, there's more support for Free Melly because of his fans than anything else. And it just looks bad. It looks bad. The state of Florida, though, owes it to the two young men, Sack Chaser and Juvie, to get some justice. They owe it to their families to get some justice. And that's what I think the state will be seeking to do. I'll catch y'all on the next video. It's Hot Topics TV. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you've never been here before. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on Hot Topics TV. Every time we follow up on one of these stories that we're covering. Like this story, we plan to cover it all the way through. So it's going to take some time and you want to see what we have to say. All right? I'm out. Peace.